Hey guys, it's Sensuki and welcome to my second video on the removal of melee engagement. And in this video I'll be addressing a point that was raised in the original Kickstarter update about melee engagement, and that was the fact that the melee engagement system was created to address the issues of ranged units kiting melee units, which was something that some players did to the AI in the Infinity Engine games with a bunch of bow users. They would you have multiple bow users run repeatedly across the map and fire ranged attacks at following melee enemies when their ranged attacks came off cooldown. And this seems to be one of the things that annoyed the lead designer of this game, Josh Sawyer, so he has created the melee engagement system to address that issue, among other things. Now, I made a video before about how the melee engagement system can be abused by the player. Now I'm going to make a video about kiting and its relation to melee engagement. Okay, so in this video I'm going to demonstrate that there is a severe problem with the AI targeting clauses in Pillars of Eternity. Now, in the Infinity Engine games, some players found it difficult to control which enemies were targeting their party members in the game, and that was just simply because they didn't understand how the AI targeting worked. Now, in the Baldur's Gate games, what would happen is there would be a set of initial targeting clauses. They might have been based on lowest AC or something like that, lowest hit points. Or closest enemy, and then once those initial clauses had been fulfilled, the character that had made their initial target would target that enemy until they had moved a certain distance away, and once they had moved a certain distance away, they would look for a new party member. This is something that one of the Obsidian forum members called Lilycake coins as the 12-yard rule. So what would happen in Baldur's Gate is, let's say all of these guys were attacking me and I had another party member over here. So I'm going to move my priest up here. Now, let's say I wanted to stop the enemies from targeting this character. What I would have to do is run away, and then once I was a certain distance away from the enemies, they would then start attacking my priest because I had reached a certain distance from them. Sometimes it was a little bit hard to get a certain distance away from enemies, and you could do that by blocking the enemies with your other characters. Now, in the Icewind Dale games, the targeting was a little bit different. There was much more robust targeting clauses, and there was much smarter target reacquisition as well. So, like when you moved away from a character, enemies would quickly and smartly change targets to the nearest. They would do another target reacquisition almost instantly. So let's say I had these two guys here, I moved my monk away, then there would be a new target reacquisition straight away once I was out of range, and then based on a certain set of conditions they might change targets to the priest or they might not. And there were some cases where enemies never changed targets in the Icewind Dale games. Heart of Winter, I think, brought on the really good targeting clauses. I actually don't remember what Icewind Dale felt like because it was a long time ago since I played it without the expansion. But Icewind Dale, Heart of Winter had really robust targeting clauses. Now, what happens in Pillars of Eternity is that when I open combat with my monk here, all of the enemies will start instantly targeting the monk as soon as her hit frame hits one of the enemies, or the hit frame of her attack animation hits one of the enemies. What will happen next is, a few milliseconds afterwards, there will be another targeting clause check for the closest nearby enemy. So let's say I had my priest over here. When I hit this dwarf with my monk, all of the enemies will instantly target the priest, but then milliseconds afterwards, these three guys here will see that the priest is closer to them, so they'll start attacking her. This might not be the case for the ranger because he's got a ranged weapon, and they have slightly different targeting clauses. And then the third targeting clause is first enemy engaged by. So the way I can get someone to change targeting is equip my priest with a melee weapon like I have here, attack the priest with a monk, and run the enemies past the priest. the first unit to pass the priest will be engaged by the priest, and they will stop and attack the priest because that is the first enemy they've been engaged by. Now, they are the 3 initial targeting clauses in the game. There is a little bit of target reacquisition that happens, but it is only, I think it only happens with enemies that are in line of sight. I'm not 100% sure how it works, but there is a way to manipulate it so that they don't actually notice new characters until certain conditions are met, which is what I'm going to do here. Now, before I do that, I wanted to talk about the fact that the melee engagement system only prevents one specific style of kiting, and that is when a melee unit reaches like close range and can actually attack a ranged unit, that it prevents the ranged unit from running away without a cost, which is of course the opportunity attack that they get against the ranged unit. However, since this mechanic seems to exist to facilitate the AI against the player, all the player has to do to circumvent that situation happening is just make sure that the melee enemy never catches them. So if you see, it's going to be difficult if the melee enemy is faster than your ranged character, but all you have to do is fire your shot, cancel your animation, and then start running, and just make sure that the melee unit doesn't get in range. Now that is the only situation that the melee engagement system addresses as far as kiting goes. It doesn't actually fix. There's still many other types of kiting that can be done, and it actually makes the gameplay worse in many other areas. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to demonstrate a normal style of kiting that is done in many isometric RTS style games, and that is using one fast character to run around in circles while the rest of the player controlled units pepper them down with ranged weapons. And I'm not going to really move my ranged characters around. I'm just going to let them stand there, and I'm going to just make them fire a volley at these guys each time they walk past. Now, there's a couple of things that I have to watch out for in this video. I know that there's some funny auto attack clauses in the game at the moment that where the party AI will cancel your player issued commands. So what will happen sometimes when I attack the dwarf and try and run away, my monk will start auto attacking the priest again, and I have to cancel that action as well, and then issue another movement command. This is something that many players are finding frustrating as well, that where the game AI overrides their player issued commands. Another thing that can happen is the priest has a spell called Halt. Sometimes he will cast that spell and it will stop my monk from moving. Now this is how you prevent people from running away, using crowd control abilities. That is exactly how it should be done. The fighter's knockdown, rogue's crippling strike, the priest's halt, many druid and cipher abilities that all have crowd control. That is how you control enemy movement. That is how the enemy should do it to you, and that is how you should do it to the enemy. You don't need an automatic system like the melee engagement system to be able to do that. These things are already present in the game, and there's also some rare instances where the enemy AI will actually require new targets. The only times I've seen that happening is the ranger, because he's equipped with a ranged weapon. If he loses my monk, he possibly will start attacking my other party members. And the BB dwarf, the cow dwarf, if he casts a heal, he will then qualify for target reacquisition. It's only after he casts heal though. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack the dwarf and hope it works. Okay, good to go. I'm going to cancel the animation and run away. Now I'm going to run these guys past my party members. I'm going to start attacking them as well. I want to kill the dwarf first. Now for some reason... yes, the dwarf has actually changed targeting. Okay, so now none of the other guys have changed targets though. Oh, right, I had my rogue equipped with melee weapons. That would explain why that happened. No. As you can see, they ignored my rogue. Nope, I want you guys to stay here. Once again, none of the guys have changed targets yet. I'm going to run them specifically past my group of fighters here. Or sorry, my party members. Don't even notice them. There we go again. Okay, so as you can see, apart from my little hiccup where I forgot to change the rogue's weapon to an arbalest, none of the enemies noticed my other party members because I understand how the targeting clauses work and I've showed you how they're broken. Now, this video is not necessarily related to the melee engagement system, but I just wanted to point out that the melee engagement system does not prevent kiting at all. And the AI targeting clauses in Pillars of Eternity need some serious work. There needs to be a loop where characters can constantly reevaluate new targets, because it doesn't make any sense for characters to run past my range weapons and ignore them. My range characters and ignore them like they did in this video. What they should do is that when my monk gets out of range, they should just reacquire targets on my closest party members. Which is what they do in the initial combat, but they don't actually recheck for it once combat has begun. So I'm going to make a few more videos on the topic of melee engagement. This one was only partially related to it. I just wanted to point out that it only addresses one really narrow situation that can happen with kiting. There are still many ways that you can kite in Pillars of Eternity, and the melee engagement system doesn't prevent kiting. It only prevents a very small subset of kiting, which I don't think many people would really involve themselves in anyway. Okay, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll have a few more videos in the thread as well.